The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson and Late Night with David Letterman will be seen in their entirety 15 minutes from now, so that we may bring you the following NBC News special. Here is Tom Brokaw.
Good evening, everyone. Well, after 8 weeks of often bitter negotiations, the pro football strike is over tonight. Just moments ago, Gene Upshaw, who is the chief negotiator for the players, announced that the players have given their tentative approval to a settlement with the owners of the National Football League. And now at a news conference in New York at the Summit Hotel, the professional representative of the players, Ed Garvey, is speaking at a news conference. Let's go to Eric Burns.
For years, and for the players themselves to demonstrate once and for all that the players are the most important element in the game of football. Without the players, as Joe Glazer said at our convention, there ain't no game. And the players have demonstrated that very effectively. To the point where I think maybe one of the nicest things that was said tonight was when Dan Rooney said, now we are in a partnership. And I think that word means a lot to those people who have been out on the line, putting their careers out there, making sure that not just the players today, but the players in the future will be able to share in the not only the monies that will be coming in from television and gate receipts and the like, but also have basic human rights that will allow them to be proud of their profession. So we have a lot of people to thank. Certainly the executive committee. I've never worked with people who've worked harder, who've been more dedicated than these people, starting out with Gene Upshaw and working right on through the entire committee. This board of reps put its jobs on the line to make sure that their fellow players would get what they deserve and to make sure that they've been protected. To organized labor, who over this past weekend raised $175,000 for us so that we could continue this battle. And I think if it hadn't been for our friends in the Machinists Union and the service employees and AFSCME and the United Auto Workers and so on, maybe the struggle could not have continued. We're proud to be part of that tradition, be part of organized labor, and without their support, we would not have been successful. We're still waiting to hear from the Newspaper Guild, but Don Pearson assures me that we'll be getting something soon. I don't have much more to say except this. The reps did accept the agreement. It will not go with a recommendation to the membership. The membership will vote in our ratification procedure next Tuesday. And as I said, there will not be a recommendation from the board. This would be a decision that the players will make as to whether or not they wish to accept the collective bargaining agreement. We have indicated to management that we would ask the players to return to work as quickly as possible. Obviously, it's going to be difficult for them to get back there immediately, but they will be there ready for practice sometime late tomorrow or early Thursday. So, anyone else or questions?
Ed, what's the procedure?
That's Ed Garvey, of course, who is the professional representative of the National Football League Players Association. He's been a man on the firing line during this 8-week strike. They did make a tentative agreement tonight, and as you heard him, he said that the Players Representative Council would not make a recommendation to the players at large. However, I think that one can safely guess at this hour, tonight, 8 weeks into the strike, that the rest of the players, the rank and file, if you will probably approve of the agreement that has now been struck between the NFL owners and the players. It includes, among other things, a minimum wage scale and severance pay for players. We'll get further details on that agreement later in this program. Of course, no one has been watching this situation more closely than the players and the coaches. They have developed a regular network during the last 8 weeks, trying to separate the real news from the rumors. Tonight, we have 2 reports on how the news of the settlement was reached.
When word of the tentative settlement was spread, it took the leading members of the champion San Francisco 49ers less than an hour to get on the practice field. Joe Montana throwing to his favorite ends, Russ Francis and Dwight Clark. Their coach, Bill Walsh, believes experienced teams who practice in warm weather will have the edge in the abbreviated season.
With only 7 games, you can't really have a true, honest, competitive season.
San Diego coach Don Coryell is worried about players' conditioning.
I just feel sure that a lot of our players are going to be in good shape. I'm very fearful that some of them might not be.
Marcus Allen of the Oakland Raiders thinks he's ready.
Well, I feel pretty good. I've been working out on a constant basis. But I think everybody's going to be in the same predicament as far as not having that togetherness and that timing and stuff like that. And
Rams owner Georgia Frontiere still isn't convinced it's over.
We have to assume that it's over.
But her coaches have begun preparing for their Sunday game with Atlanta, hoping no lingering player management problems remain. Dan Fouts of San Diego thinks there may be.
There's a tremendous amount of damage right now that needs to be shorn up.
But Russ Francis of San Francisco says it will all work out.
And this is business, and now that it's over with, we can get back on the field and play football.
In every front office, the task has begun of finding players, revamping schedules, and handling the thousands of calls from fans who wonder just what's going on. Don Oliver, NBC News, Los Angeles.
At the Miami Dolphins training camp, football uniforms were hung and equipment readied in preparation for a team practice tomorrow morning. Earlier in the day, Dolphin coaches reviewed game films and play strategy, anticipating a breakthrough in the strike talks. Tonight, head coach Don Shula said he is anxious to start playing football again and will work to put his team back together.
The important thing now is to get everybody in here, to get them thinking back about football, and to get their concentration on what lies ahead.
At a nearby hotel, some of the Dolphin players gathered to say they are ready to return to the playing field and expressed hope that the agreement will soon be ratified.
I think you got to naturally be excited to get back to playing football because it seemed like it was coming down to a do-or-die situation, and all of us want to play football. We want to try and get the season resumed. So we're pretty ecstatic about the opportunity to get back and start playing again. And
some of the Dolphin players have had to take on extra jobs to earn money lost during the strike. Starting quarterback David Woodley has been working for the past month for a road paving company. He echoed the feelings of many of his teammates. At prospects of returning to the job he says he does best.
Well, I'm glad to get back. I feel as though the strike lasted longer than anybody expected, and it's time to get back to football.
Vic Walter, NBC News, Miami.
All right, we're back now, and we have, of course, two of the premier players of the National Football League who have been watching all of this very carefully, eager to get back into camp tomorrow. Well, I would guess eager to get back into the camp, certainly eager to get back on the field on Sunday. One of them beside me now is Richard Todd, quarterback of the New York Jets, and we have in Los Angeles at his home tonight, Jack Youngblood of the Los Angeles Rams. He already looks pretty ominous, Richard. He looks like he's ready to play ball.
He looks pretty big, doesn't he?
He looks like he's hunting for a quarterback at this point. Tell me, do you think it was all worthwhile?
Oh, yeah, I think it's worthwhile. First of all, we got the severance pay. We'll be the only professional sport that will have a severance pay, and plus we have a minimum wage, and I think that's a first also. So I think our union did a great job.
How about you, Jack Youngblood? Do you think it was worthwhile?
In the long run, I think there's some very valuable concessions that were made to us by the owners, and I think that the severance pay is a very major one of those.
Are you going to be able to get in shape by Sunday, Jack Youngblood?
I've never been in shape yet, so we've stayed in shape throughout this thing and worked out together as a team as well as we could. I think the game is definitely not going to be as it would have been if we'd have played 10 games by now, but it'll be legitimate.
But a little raggedy for a while, though.
The timing may be off a little bit, but I think the intensity will be there.
What about you, Richard Todd? You're an offensive player. You're a quarterback, of course. You haven't been throwing, you told me, for the last month or so. Are you going to be able to put those skills back together?
Well, I think the older a team is, that the quicker they will be able to get back because they'll have the more experience. And hopefully just everybody can get back as quick as they can. I think it may be a little raggedy for a couple of weeks, but, after that it'll be, should be up to par.
What about the fans? Do you think you're going to have to win them back now?
I'm sure the fans are going to show a little emotion, and, you really can't blame them. The fans have been really hurt by this, and but that's, it's business, and you can't really say that we did the right thing or the management did the right thing, but it's over now, and the best thing to do is to get back to work and forget about what happened.
And what about you, Jack? Do you think you can win the fans back in Los Angeles quickly?
I think at first there may be some adverse sentiment from the fans, but after 3 or 4 weeks and the interest of the races becomes more prevalent, I think that all the bad feelings from the fans will pass, and they'll get back into the avidness that they've always been.
Let me ask you both just to stand by if I can for the next step. Don't worry about that, Jack. You're a linebacker. You're not expected to talk about the fans quite as carefully as quarterbacks like Richard Todd are. We're going to talk about the fans for just a few moments because we've done a kind of an unscientific sampling around the country about what they think of the prospects now of a strike settlement and the prospects that pro football will be back on the field by this weekend.
The players, I'm not for the owners. Both of them are wrong. The owners, they raise the price of the tickets. The average person can't go to a football, basketball, baseball game. The price is too high. The players want too much money, and the owners are making too much money. They're both wrong.
I'm so happy they're back. I really am happy. I've missed it tremendously. I've gotten a lot done at home. A lot of laundry, a lot of chores, a lot of everything. But I'd rather be at the game.
I'm sick and tired of betting on the high school and college games. I like to bet the pros.
I'm glad the strike's over, but I've missed the sport while it's been on strike, and I wonder which of the two parties was most greediest and which one gave in first. I don't know which.
Oh, I'm delighted for the players' families, but it doesn't make a lot of difference to me. I think the season's over, whether they play this Sunday or the following Sunday.
I think it's wonderful. The men can get back into their natural places again and stop bothering us.
I think it's tremendous. It's long overdue.
Frankly, I really don't care.
The strike's over.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, terrific. All right.
You happy about that?
You better believe it.
Why?
Sure, because I love football.
Fans, they're mad now, but they'll forget. It'll be great.
Well, we're back once again with Richard Todd and Jack Youngblood, of course, who hope to be back on the field by Sunday of this week. Jack, let me ask you in Los Angeles, do you think that this will be a season that deserves an asterisk as a result of the shortened season, that it will somehow be a special place? Could you hear me?
Tom, I've lost the sound to you. I'm sorry.
All right, can you hear me now? I gather he can't. Well, let me ask Richard Todd, who's the quarterback for the Jets. Do you think that this season ought to have an asterisk beside it in the record books at the end of the...
I don't know. It ought to have something beside it. I don't really know exactly what that is, but yeah, it will be a shortened season. I'm sure a lot of people are going to think that this is not the regular season or the way it should have been, which maybe it's not. But the best thing is that everybody's going to be out there working, and the fans will be back. I believe the players can't wait to get back to work, and maybe the owners will be happy too.
Was there a time when you thought that you may not get a season this year?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, and I, was really down because I felt like that was a turning point then, but I was wrong, thank goodness.
Thanks very much, Richard Todd, for being with us tonight. And even though he can no longer hear us, Jack Youngblood, who's in Los Angeles. Thanks for standing by tonight, Jack, and we wish you both the very best, of course, tomorrow in training camp and then again on Sunday. News of the settlement, frankly, was good news for the sports departments of the 3 television networks. All of them have a big stake in professional football, and the people who work for the sports division of these networks will now be able to get back to the autumn game that they have missed so much. One of them is Len Berman, NBC Sports, a member of NBC Sports NFL 82. Tonight, he has some thoughts on the end of the strike. Len?
When they start playing football, they will play it under a microscope. Will the players be fit? Will it be NFL caliber? Commissioner Pete Rozelle admitted to me this past weekend it would not be up to NFL standards.
It certainly wouldn't be NFL style. You could not have a full season. It wouldn't be NFL. We're going to have to go to the public if we do get a settlement and say, we're making the best of it we can.
The weekend of September 19th saw rookie Marcus Allen lead the Los Angeles Raiders to a 2-0 record, while the team that didn't leave the Bay Area, the Super Bowl champion San Francisco 49ers, were 0-2. So it was perhaps fitting that the 49ers would jump the official settlement and begin working out today. But not all teams have diligently kept in shape during the 2-month strike. The Dolphins, also 2-0 and expecting a good year, may have led the league in workouts.
And it's important that the players that have been off for 7 weeks now have done something to keep in shape, whether it's working out together or working out by themselves, lifting weights and doing running on their own.
Portions of teams worked out. Some of the Pittsburgh Steelers, also 2-0, pumped iron in a bar, while some individuals, like Walter Payton of the Chicago Bears, an 0-2 team, charged up and down a hill in suburban Chicago. All players in their own way were preparing for what is now a 9-game season, with the Super Bowl as scheduled January 30th. The fans will ultimately decide if the teams are Super Bowl caliber, but judging from some of the action back in September, NFL style is in the eye of the beholder. Len Berman, NBC Sports.
All right, just to bring you up to date, there is a tentative agreement tonight. The schedule will resume this Sunday just where it would have been had there not been a strike. All the players have yet to vote, but we expect them to say yes, they're ready to play beginning this Sunday. And then, of course, the big moment will come when on Sunday, all over this country, in professional football stadiums, the football's on the 40, the fans are in the stands, the teams are lined up like armies against each other. The referee will raise his arm and blow the whistle, and once again, professional football is in the air. I'm Tom Brokaw, NBC News, New York.
This has been an NBC News special.